Hello, hi, good evening. Hi, it's Christine Crow here. And wow, I hope everyone is doing well and that you're really taking on board the new year, for example, 2025, and really becoming using the eagle mentality as well, because we've got to think about all of these things when we're running a business, for example. So, today's video is about how much does small business insurance cost? Well, it really depends on your location, for example. So let's think about whether you're in the UK or whether you're in the States. For example, it's important to have this, and I know it's daunting, and I know it's can be scary that you're paying out this money, and it's all part of running a business. Unfortunately, you have to have, it's like the chicken and the egg story, isn't it? You got to have the insurance in order to get the work, because you can't apply for things unless you can prove that you've got the insurance. Or you may come across some organizations may say, can you please self-certify to say that you're going to have your insurance ready in place? Now that happens as well, but majority of the time they do ask to see the insurance cover, because they want to make sure that you're fully compliant, and otherwise it's their backs. They're the ones that's going to also get into trouble. So they want everything to be fine, unless you're applying for in the UK when you're doing CQC registration, then they're happy with a quote. Now and that's usually the CQC that is like that, for example. But with most organizations, when you're looking to contract with organizations, then they're going to want to see that you do have the insurance, because they want to see that you're serious about it. And sometimes it can take some time before the work actually comes to fruition. You could have that insurance, you provide that insurance, you've up you've uploaded it, for example, on the portal, the contract portal, and it could be 3-4 months before you're actually using that, or even 6 months, for example. It depends when that contract starts. Now, sometimes when you've got a contract, for example, then that contract may start in 3, 6, 9 months time from now. Okay, so it all depends who it is that you're contracting with, and also if it's governmental, they can quite easily give you a contract, then they can suddenly stop the contract because there's something not quite right there. So you've got to also think that this is all part of being in business. That you've got to, if they say you've got to have an office, then you have to have an office. If they say you've got to have a business address, then they want to see that you have got a business address to be taken seriously. But they've got to have the insurance as well as all the other things. So the insurance is about safety, isn't it? For you, for your staff, and also for your clients. So today we're going to dive into insurance. I'm just having a cup of tea. So I'll just go through some things with you, for example. So whether you're in the UK or USA or wherever you are around the world, you need to have insurance in place. So if you're running a care business, for example, in the UK or USA, for example, it is a big concern, like I said, but you need to have insurance. But you also need to know how much it costs, what it covers, and how it affects your business, for example. So in today's live session, I will break this down for you: cost of insurance for care businesses usually in the arena for care, home care, or medical staffing. I'm not referring to care home for the elderly. I'm not referring to supported living, because you've got accommodation as well that you're dealing with. So what you need to think about is, and I need to say something here, this is a disclaimer as well. I am not an insurance broker whatsoever. I am not registered with the Financial Conduct Authority, for example, whatsoever. I am just talking as a general business person, talking to you, giving you advice about insurance that you need, for example. I'm not here to talk about any small print. I'm not here to talk about the other aspects that the financial conduct regulation that an insurance broker would have. I used to be, here's another thing, I used to be an insurance broker in Nottingham. How amazing is that? I used to be a mortgage broker in Nottingham. How amazing is that as well? And I really did enjoy it. Me and my husband, many, many years ago, we had a washing machine shop. We had insurance there, but we also did mortgages. Well, I did mortgages as well as loans, as well as insurance. And I really did enjoy it. We both enjoyed it. And that was in Nottingham, in Basford. Okay, so I have got, like I mentioned, that I do have 40 years experience in business because I have done it. And you know something? I'm glad that I've done different businesses because I'm not just one type of person. I like doing many things. Maybe I'm hyperactive. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. I've never been assessed, but I love doing things. And something. I learn so much, and I like to learn. I'm always learning. I'm always stretching myself. I've got a lot of energy as well. You might as well call me hyperactive, but I think it helps when you're running a business that you are hyperactive, that you've got that energy, because I could go from morning to night. That's how energetic I am. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I feel very proud to say that I've got the energy. Look, I'm going to be 60 this year, and I've still got the energy like I did when I was a lot younger. So, I used to be a mortgage broker, like I said, and I really did enjoy that, helping people to get mortgages. I used to be helping people to get insurance. I used to be an assistant for a conveyancing, real estate. I used to do wills and trusts as well. I used to do lasting power of attorneys. I used to do a lot of things, party plans. I was doing everything. I did many of side hustles, and I'm pleased to say I did. I'm glad I did. I think it's taught me so much in life, and I'm so grateful that I've had that chance to be able to do the things that I've wanted to do in my life. But anyway, I kind of went off track there, but I just wanted to go into that when you go into business, whatever type of business it is, you have to have insurance even before you got the clients. So that's why it's important that your business plan and that you've got the money for insurance. You can't just not have insurance, for example. Okay, so I just wanted to go through that with you, for example. So I'm going to just break down some of the costs of some of the care businesses insurance, for example. So it's important for you to think about insurance, and I want you to look at this. This is all part of, before you even decide to go into business, this is all part of what you should be doing. And I have boot camps. I also do boot camps every month. I do events. I've got lots of free training, for example. So there's plenty of research material out there for people to actually see what they need to have beforehand, for example. So why do you need insurance? You need insurance to protect you and also your company from lawsuits, accidents. You want to protect your staff. You also want to make sure that people are being treated in the right manner, for example. And then even with cyber threats now, it's, things are getting, because everything is online. So we're dealing with cyber threats where people can literally break into your server. They can break into your computer, for example, and steal your data from you, your database, literally. So it's important to ensure that you're compliant with the local regulations. So it depends where you're based around the world. Then they will also dictate to you what type of insurance or what level of insurance that you need to have for a particular service that you're providing, for example. So let's look at this. So let's discuss the type of insurance that you might need. So, for example, you need public liability insurance, professional indemnity, and employer's liability. Now, public liability insurance, it protects against claims from third parties for injuries or damage, for example. So if you had a shop front, for example, and someone was to walk into your shop front and they tripped, fell over, and injured themselves on your premises, then they can sue you. And they obviously it's a serious injury. I'm not on about if they've just scraped a knee or whatever, for example. It has to be a serious injury. So that is the reason why you need public liability insurance, for example, to protect yourself against third party from injury, for example, or damage. The next thing that you need is employer's liability, for example, and this is mandatory if you have staff members, not on about self-employed, protecting against claims from employees. And I'll say it again, employer's liability insurance is mandatory if you have staff that are on your payroll, for example, that you pay national insurance for, etc. I'm not talking about self-employed, for example, because they will have and should have their own insurance to protect themselves as well. Okay, so protecting against claims from employees. The third thing that you need is professional indemnity insurance, which a lot of nurses, for example, but also the healthcare worker, if you are self-employed, you need to make sure that you've got the relevant insurance for you to be covered, because you can't claim from the company as an employee, because they're not your employer. Okay, so you don't have the rights as an employer, as an employee has, as opposed to a self-employed person, contractor. So the professional indemnity insurance, it covers negligence claims related to care, for example, that you provide. So, for example, if one of your staff members was to injure a client, then they can sue you. For example, the client can sue the company, for example. And also, if, for example, your staff member, if your staff member does something really bad as well, this also covers negligence as well. In the USA, the requirements are general liability insurance, which is similar to the public liability, injuries and property damage, for example, workers' compensation insurance as well. That is a must if you have employees. Workplace injuries, which we have in the UK as well. Professional liability insurance, malpractice insurance, and also cyber liability insurance as well. Increasingly, it's essential for protecting sensitive data, and we really should be looking at that for the UK as well, for example, especially now this year, because we're in the UK, because we're so focused on AI, and AI is going to become very big in the UK. It is big in America anyway. It's nothing new, because I've seen robots in the hospitals in America. But in the UK, they're going to start doing, having robots and things like that, AI So there's a lot of data that needs to be protected. So you've got to ensure that you have that as well. Now, you've got to think about every organization that you deal with that does insurance, they have their costs involved, okay? So when I'm giving you these prices, it's just a rough estimate. It's nothing legal, because I'm not an insurance broker. I'm just talking to you about what I'm seeing and experiencing. I've also got an introducer's agreement with an insurance company, so I kind of know what they charge as well, for example. But that's when you deal with the insurance company direct, so they can give you more in-depth information that they are allowed to give you, for example. So public liability insurance, for example, usually it costs around, in the UK, about £150 a month, for example, to you might as well say 1,500 a year, for example, depending really on the size of your business and the number of clients. Now, if you've just started out, you don't want to just be like, I'm going to be making £1,000,000 or $1 million in the first year, because you don't want to put your insurance up for no reason. So try and be realistic and keep it down. And when you exceed that, then you're going to be really happy, because you've actually exceeded more than what you put down. So just be mindful of that. Sometimes, though, they can separate the employer's liability. So the employer's liability could be 1,000 per year. There's also the professional indemnity that can be like 200, starts at 250 a year, for example. So you can put all of those things. Really, you're looking at between 200 to 400, 500 per month. It depends what you say and what you have agreed to with the insurance broker. So make sure that, just say, is this amount necessary that I've got on here? For example, is there anything cheaper that you can look for? A broker can do these things for you to get you the best deal. Because if you stick with like a company that does insurance, you're just fixed with that company, for example. So you want to be able to shop around to see what's best for you. The next thing is, like in America, for example, the insurance is more, obviously, because it's America as well. So the cost, it really can be like $3,000 annually, for example, for general liability insurance. Then there's workers' compensation, which can be up to $3,500 per year. Then professional liability can be up to $5,000 a year, but it can start at $600 annually. It depends who you go to, and just shop around. That is one of the things that I would say to you, is to shop around, to look to see what bundle deals that you can get: employer's liability, professional indemnity, public liability, for example, and then see if they can give you a bundle, and that can reduce the price greatly to a big amount. Okay, now you've also got to be thinking about risk management as well. Implementing strong safety protocols can lower your premiums. So it all depends on what the role is for the staff members that you've got. Are they healthcare workers? Are they nurses? If they're nurses, what are they going to be doing? You just really want to look at the positions and what they'll be doing. So the lesser the risk, then the lower the insurance, for example. But if there's a high risk there, then the insurance can go up slightly, for example. Okay, so I'd love to know what your number one tip is for saving on business insurance, besides not getting it. Okay, so I hope that you found that helpful. And what I want to do is to, if you can just in the chat, for example, I want to know, in terms of, what is your biggest challenge about insurance costs for your care business? Because, it's something that you need to face and not do, for example. So what is your biggest challenge? Now, I've spoken to you about how you can do side hustles, how you can earn extra money, and I'm going to be showing you all of these things because I know that the inflation, because it's coming up in April, don't wait till April, start doing things now. I've got plenty of videos here about side hustles, things that you may enjoy, because it's got to be something that you enjoy doing. So if you do like a side hustle, for example, then that can help pay for your insurance. Like, for example, I'm doing these YouTube videos daily, aren't I? You see, I'm doing it daily because I want to see how it works. I want to see how it increases. I want to then be able to say to you, do this because it does work, for example. And it does, at the moment, I get roughly about £100 a month, for example. I did miss the deadline, which was a couple of days ago, for example, by $1.50. Yeah, for getting paid, but that's okay. That's fine. So imagine if you had a YouTube channel, for example, and then you was making, say, 150 a month just by doing one video a week, for example, or one video a day for 20 minutes, for example, can bring money in. If you're monetized, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watched hours as well. But imagine you're monetized and you're getting, say, 100 to 150 per month. That will help pay your insurance, won't it? Or towards your business. Or, like I said, the inflation, we need to look at how we can beat inflation, because I know that in the UK there's employers that are having to pay, instead of it being 15%, it's 18%. Sorry, the national insurance has gone up by £1.59 per employee, for example. So, you've got to think outside of the box and think of ways that you can get additional income in without it affecting you terribly. So one way is side hustles. Another way is by looking at your staff that you've got and doing a staff audit, for example. I'm not on about the carers or nurses, the ones going out delivering the work, but I'm talking about those that are in your office. Is it necessary for them to be there? Are they producing money for you? If not, why? For example, look at those that are doing poor performance. There's lots of different ways you can look and see getting them better. If they don't improve, then you have to let people go. You're not here to spend money when you could use it for that inflation, for example. So like I said, check out your local apprentice, for example. I think I've got a video here on apprenticeships, for example, and also we have a virtual assistant agency as well, so that you can also look at that aspect. And then the money that you save each month, you put it to your crisis plan, so that you've got money for if and when it happens, the crisis hits you in a financial way, I'm referring to here, because it's important that you start thinking about these things. And yes, you need insurance, so start thinking about what can you do that's going to help you to pay. If if you don't have that additional money each month, then you're going to have to look at doing either some extra work, for example, driving, whatever, or delivery, or you can do YouTube, or you can do the side hustles that I've mentioned in my video. It's here somewhere on my playlist, for example, under side hustles. Okay, so think about the insurance, whereabouts you are in the world, and then start thinking about what the cost is by you approaching organizations. And they are a few organizations that you can reach. You can speak, you can see online and speak with them, for example, and they will give you a quote. It's very straightforward. That's the straightforward part. Then they send you the paperwork. Then you got to fill it out, but just take your time, you'll be fine. So I just wanted to share this with you all today about the insurance, the cost of insurance, and think about when you're going to need the insurance. That's when you get it. You don't get it before you need it. So if you're applying for a contract, for example, then you get it. You don't get it when you're just setting up your business, when you haven't even done anything with your business, for example. You've got to set your business up. You've got to make sure you've got your website, your branding, all of that documentation, everything's ready. Then you look into getting the insurance, but look into getting it now so that not buying it now, but look at inquiring about it now so that you know what the true cost is, so that you can put it into your business plan as well, because that's important that it is in your business plan. And like I said earlier today, as well as the last couple of days, you've got to start putting AI into your documentation as well. But I will do a training on that as well, so don't worry about that. But we do cover these things in the Business Recovery Bootcamp, which is brand new, and it is a really good program. It teaches business owners a lot of aspects of compliance, what to do in the event of an emergency, what do you do when there's a crisis in your business, how do you cope, how do you manage, creating your crisis fund, saving regular amounts every single month. We cover staff audits, going through all of your staff members and seeing what the benefits are, what the pros, conditions are, for example, pros and cons, for example. We go into a lot, and we also talk about creating additional income streams as well, and also making sure that you save your money so that you've got money to pay for these things and you're not going to be affected when the inflation starts in April in the UK, that is. Okay, I know there's inflation everywhere, but we need to think about what are we going to do for April, rather than wait for April to come and then start noticing things and then be like, oh, what's going on? I can't afford it, for example. So do a crisis fund, get that sorted now. Write out your staff audit, get that sorted now. Because when April comes, if you're in the UK, then your national insurance goes up as an employer, for example. So you've got to then be able to pay your frontline staff to deliver the care, for example. So if you found this session helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and share with others, just in case, other business owners, just in case it's something that they want to listen and learn from as well. So together we can navigate these challenges and build a stronger business together. So I will see you tomorrow for another session, and I look forward to any of your chat messages. Let me know, because I will answer them. And I also want to say thank you so much to the subscribers. Thank you for watching the channel, and thank you for your messages as well. I greatly appreciate your messages, and I hope that today has really opened your eyes with regards to your insurance. Check your insurance and see whether your insurance is covering AI as well at the moment, because we're going into a new type of thinking now. You've heard in the UK, for example, if you're in the UK, you've heard about Keir Starmer, what he said today, even though I was talking about it for a couple of months now, because I knew what was coming up, for example. And I want to be able to share information with you so that you get used to listening to things. We talked about these things before the new year. We talked about it in November, didn't we? We talked thoroughly. If you joined the 30-day CEO, for example, challenge, and now we're doing the business recovery. So we've also got our boot camp coming up in 2 weeks' time, and we've had 3 people sign up for it already, and I'm super excited that they signed up for the brand new program, which is the Business Recovery Boot Camp. We need to really be prepared for when April comes so that we can soar like an eagle. All right, so thank you everyone for being here today. I've really enjoyed talking to you all today, and thank you. If you're watching the replay, I want to say thank you as well. And thank you to all of you that's here. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.